Tonight, Lucilec investigates an island-wide shutdown that brought the country to a halt on Tuesday morning. The Police Welfare Association supports revision of legislation relating to firearm offences as the Minister for Justice gets set to make his case to Cabinet. And some Caribbean leaders and ministers meet with the U.S. Secretary of State as others lament the divisive nature of the talks. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Tuesday, the 21st of January 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM. You can watch via our website www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Lucilec has identified the location of a fault that triggered an island-wide shutdown, but it still has investigations to carry out to decipher the reason behind the fault. The island's lone power company says shutdowns like these are uncommon and highlighted what it says is the company's stellar service record. Solange Alfred begins our reporting.
A total electrical system shutdown was experienced on island on Tuesday, January 21st at approximately 7:55 a.m. According to Corporate Communications Manager Lucilec, Roger Joseph, the power outage was caused by a major internal fault at the Cul-de-sac power station.
The cause of the shutdown was a problem at our Cul-de-sac substation, that's the switchyard at the Cul-de-sac power station, and that would have triggered the protection systems and shut down the electrical network. As is customary with our protocols for restoring power anywhere, essentially, is we would have to isolate the faulted area of the network, so we had to isolate that section of the switchyard. And then once we had done that, to do the necessary checks to ensure that we could safely restore the power. And once we had completed those checks, we began the process of restoring power from about 9:05 thereabouts, and we would have restored power across the island gradually in steps as we kicked in additional generation sets and sort of balanced the load on the system.
The power company has developed the reputation over the years of being an extremely well-run world-class utility company. Joseph says Lucilec is investigating the root cause of the problem and has and will continue to maintain its systems.
We do the best that we can to maintain the system in as peak condition as it is, both outside and inside of the power station. And we ensure that when we do have faults, whether they are, small faults or large faults, or as in this case, an island-wide shutdown, that we can respond to restore the power as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I think you will agree that your electricity supply is fairly reliable.
Lucilec apologizes to its customers for this unplanned outage and for the inconvenience caused. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The granting of a $13,000 bail amount to a man found in possession of a high-powered rifle has been a point of discussion. A revision of the law is being called for by the executive of the Police Welfare Association. The PWA says it is time for change in the legal framework to deter would-be criminals from having illegal firearms in their possession. Already, Minister for Justice and National Security, Herman Gill Francis, has indicated that he intends to propose that firearm offences be dealt with only by the High Court when he meets with Cabinet colleagues on Wednesday.
The executive of the Police Welfare Association met on Tuesday, 21st January, to discuss long-standing matters and outline a path forward for the association. One of the pressing matters touched on by President of the PWA, Travis Chico, was that of a review of the Firearm Act. The conversation falls against the backdrop of Minister for National Security Hermingild Francis calling on the government to remove the ability of magistrates to deal with gun crime and allow the matter to be handled in the High Court. Hermingild offered those remarks following the case of Mondudor resident Ronnie Montoot, a man found in possession with a M5 assault rifle, who was then granted bail in the sum of $13,000.
Our members seem to be confronted with the issues of going out, risking their lives, recovering firearms, high-powered weapons, and persons are being given bail that any child can afford. These are issues that we intend to discuss here today, and we'll be looking to have a meeting through the Minister of National Security, thereafter hoping to meet with the judiciary or the officers in the judiciary. It is of concern to us because yes, we cannot indicate that because some of those interceptions of firearms or recovery of firearms that we have seen police officers losing their lives, but we believe that moving into the decade, we should set the tone right through that. It should be, hey, anybody found with a firearm, it's not going to be dealt with business as usual. It's going to be something that we are going to really set the example so persons with firearms could do two things: either give it up or face the consequences.
Meanwhile, Public Relations Officer of the PWA, Stanislaus Albert, was on hand to add his voice to the conversation. Albert says the time is now for the amendment of the Firearm Act.
It is high time that the persons responsible for amending our legislation do what they are supposed to do. And I was pretty much happy when I heard the minister came out and said that the government will be looking into tightening legislation pertaining to firearms, because that is what is needed to be done. It is not the magistrate. The magistrates are working within their purview. Whatever is in the law is whatever they go by. So it is those responsible for amending legislation. And there are so many things happening around. And I'm wondering whether it is that the persons responsible for amending and making new legislation don't see these things. I am wondering, when will legislation be put in place for these persons we have driving all over the place with their cell phones in their hand? It's just a matter of something waiting to happen, then we will act. But we can act before whatever that will happen happens.
Furthermore, Chico says the issue of low bail amounts further demoralizes police officers that are already facing a quandary of issues affecting the police force. Chico echoes the sentiments of Minister for National Security, Hermingild Francis. He says he is in agreement with making the offense of possession of an illegal firearm indictable. An indictable offense is an offense where the defendant has the right to trial by jury.
I can agree to make it an indictable offense, but even then, we need to send out the message. How soon we do it is very important. I definitely think that if we know that we have gun issues in terms of persons that have guns and they will on whims and fancies decide they want to commit crimes, shoot people and whatnot, we need to deal with it very seriously, and we need to move speedily on it. I for one support any action against any persons armed with illegal weapons, whatever the consequences, whether that they face. I would support it, and if we have to move from summary matters to make it indictable, I'm all for it, because it is a problem, and if we want to protect the future generation, we need to deal with the issue of illegal firearms in St. Lucia.
According to the Firearm Act, Part 1, prohibited weapons and ammunitions. Subject to this act, a person shall not use, purchase, acquire, or have in his or her possession, import or export, carry, manufacture, supply, or offer to supply to another, be concerned in the supplying to another, or any of the following: a firearm which is so designed or adapted that if pressure is applied to the trigger, missiles continue to be discharged until pressure is removed from the trigger or the magazine containing the ammunition is empty. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is meeting with some of the region's leaders and foreign ministers in Jamaica this week, even as questions are raised about why other countries were excluded. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who is also the current chairman of the 15-member CARICOM grouping, has suggested that Pompeo's meeting with foreign ministers of only 6 Caribbean nations, the Bahamas, Belize, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia, is an attempt to divide the region. The Foreign Affairs Ministry in Jamaica said that during the visit, in addition to meeting Prime Minister Andrew Holness and senior members of his cabinet, Pompeo is expected to give a policy speech on the Caribbean region's critical importance to his country and the U.S.'s renewed commitment to closer ties based on shared values, interests, and economic prosperity. But not all the region's leaders or foreign affairs ministers were invited, and Mottley made note of that over the weekend. She indicated that Barbados would not be sending a representative. In an effort to foster a positive relationship between members of the public and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, officers attached to the Gros Islet Police Station have undertaken a series of community outreach programs. Ready to continue these programs in the new year, Acting Superintendent of Police Elvis Thomas invites members of the public to the first Community Security Forum for 2020. Jacques Wooding tells us more.
On the 22nd of January 2020, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force continues a series of community outreach programs within the community of Gros Islet. Dubbed the Policing My Community Forum, this program seeks to create a positive environment for discussions on various community issues which can be addressed within the capacity of the police. Acting Assistant Superintendent of Police Elvis Thomas underscores the importance of ensuring that police operations are meeting the needs of the community.
Many times we really don't understand the importance of forming that link with the community. Policing is not just a policing problem, but if we as a country, as a people, can come together to deal with the issues of crime and violence, then we are in a better position to make St. Lucia safer.
Wednesday's forum will include special presentations from Prime Minister Alan Chastanet, National Security Minister Hermangild Francis, and Gros Islet MP Leonard Spider Montoute. Thomas says the members of government will also lead a discussion with the public.
They will form part of a panel where we will have some open discussions, and persons who are in attendance will be free to ask questions and make suggestions as to how we can make Gros Islet safer. Now, this is not just for Gros Islet, but we're hoping that this will be for the entire island, because this is our country and we have to ensure that we keep St. Lucia and St. Lucians safe.
Moving forward, he hopes that the forum will be held in more centralized areas to involve more communities. However, Thomas says the forum is open to all persons who are able to attend. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
The management of Hot FM Communications Limited is promising an exciting year of things to come as it continues to introduce innovative programming and technology to the entire media landscape. With 2 radio stations and the hottest thing out there in television, the parent company says it only gets better from here. Bolstered by impressive figures in the annual media survey, the management team at Hot FM Communications Limited is eager to introduce even more exciting radio and television programming to the media landscape. Hot FM Radio has set the trend for almost 20 years and continues to enjoy the lion's share of the audience numbers in the annual survey. The Morning Buzz with Lady Lee continues to be named as listeners' favorite radio program, while veteran Creole broadcaster Sam Jugbois Flood is the undisputed king of early morning radio. Marlon and Mr. Jordan also lead the way right through the day across the airwaves. Through the entire day, Hot FM leads in all time slots. And if it's love that's on your mind, then your 24-hour love station, Kiss FM, is hitting all the right spots. The station has grown in its numbers and offers the perfect contrast to the non-stop heat of Hot FM radio. Production manager Kendall John says the company is very appreciative of the loyalty of its listeners.
Once again, Hot FM totally dominates all the major slots, and we now have 75% market share So again, we have to thank St. Lucia, our listeners, and all our customers for making us number one. And now a rapidly growing sister station, Kiss FM. And so between the two of them, we now hold 81% market share. So we have to give credit to Mr. Patrick Smith, who has created a model that has been able to sustain the test of time.
On Tuesday, the Crazy Mix Party Central. My Steve calling.
Hot FM radio announcer Jordan Allen, known as Mr. Jordan, also expressed his appreciation to the loyal fans.
First and foremost, I want to thank again our listeners, those here and abroad, for making Hot FM number one. 14 years and counting? Yes, stupendous. We thank you so much for making us number one again. We are trendsetters, not copycats. The point just stands out right there. No long conversation. I'm going to boast what we do. We know and they know what we do. That's why they follow. We lead. The DJs, of course, management. We know exactly what it takes to get it done. The meetings come in every now and then for particular reasons. That's why we maintain that number one position. And again, big up the DJs, of course, the announcers, and again, you, the audience, for keeping us at number one.
And in its television division, after only 1 year in operation, Hot 7 TV is already rising to the top in various time slots. There are big plans in the pipeline to take the station to the next level. Already, the company has unveiled its HD mobile broadcasting studio. It means that events can be broadcast from anywhere across St. Lucia in full HD quality. John says viewers need to stay locked to what's hot with Hot 7 TV as it leads the way in technological innovation.
Now, Hot 7 TV, we are very proud because it's now the rising star of television in St. Lucia. We are 100% HD quality. We brought HD to cable TV when it comes to the local channels, and we are now rivaling some of the stalwarts in the TV industry in different time slots during the day on cable. So again, we are very proud of what Hot 7 TV is achieving, and we know for sure if we continue as we are, we'll be equal to our sister station, Hot FM, and totally dominate the landscape. And thanks again to the public who's really taken us and embraced us in their homes.
Parent company Hot FM Communications Limited will mark a milestone of 20 years in operation this year and plans to celebrate and show appreciation to its loyal fans in a big way. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the Police Welfare Association speaks out about the unsuitable working conditions at the traffic department. Caution about the danger of open fires ahead of the dry season. And music students of Schwizel Secondary and Primary Schools are gifted with brand new state-of-the-art music equipment. That and more after the break.